Ever dream of playing those fancy piano pieces on the go, but held back by the, entire piano you need to lug around? In this video I'm gonna show you everything you want to know about the foldable keyboard FingerBallet BX-15. This foldable piano promises portability without breaking the bank. We'll dive into its features, see if it lives up to the hype and answer the all-important question: can it actually hit the right notes? So buckle up, smash that subscribe button, and before we get all technical, let's crack open this box and see what FingerBallet has hidden inside. No fancy packaging here, just a straightforward and sturdy box. Peeling back the lid, we're greeted by a bunch of goodies. We'll get into those in a sec, but first things first. There's a note stand, a quick reference sheet, a dedicated carrying bag, and the star of the show, the keyboard itself. Everything's neatly packed and protected. Speaking of the keyboard, it's already folded and surprisingly lightweight. I can already tell this plastic construction will be excellent for taking it on the go. Oh, that's a full-size piano, bigger than I expected, but definitely impressive. Let's peel off these protective stickers and dive deeper into the accessories. We've got a handy note stand that attaches to the keyboard, a cheat sheet with basic notes for beginners, and an instruction manual with warranty information. There are also some clips for holding sheet music, a pair of earphones for silent practice, a power cable with 15 volts adapter, and even sustain pedal to add some expressiveness to your playing. Overall, it's a pretty standard set of accessories, but they cover all the essentials. Nothing fancy, but hey, it gets the job done. Alright, let's talk design and feel. This keyboard has a classic vibe, like a throwback to old electric pianos, but with a modern twist thanks to that little rectangular LED display. It's made from lightweight plastic but feels surprisingly sturdy, and the keys are full size with a nice semi-weighted feel. One thing I noticed right away is the subtle wood grain texture on the keys. It might not be a fancy grand piano, but it adds a pretty nice touch. I kinda like it. But the real star of the show is the folding mechanism. This thing folds and unfolds almost without any effort, making it perfect for tight spaces, tiny apartments, or musicians on the go. And as I said earlier, it's also super lightweight, which is a big plus. Now, I know some of you might be wondering about that gap where the keyboard folds. I mentioned this in the previous review of other foldable keyboards, and let me tell you, this keyboard does have a small gap underneath the keys when you look from the front. It's not huge and you can't see it from playing position, but it's there. Okay, let's plug it in and see what it sounds like. When you plug it in, the little LED turns red to indicate charging, and then green when it's full. Firing it up, we have a small power switch in the back. Not the most convenient placement. Speaking of portability, this keyboard has built-in batteries, which is awesome for street performances or playing anywhere. The speakers on the back are surprisingly loud. I had to turn them down a bit, but they definitely pack a punch. You could easily jam with a band or fill a large room with sound. Of course, there's also a headphone jack for quiet practice. Navigating the features is pretty straightforward. We have some multifunction buttons, a rotary dial and a clay LCD display. It's all very intuitive, and you can adjust the function of some buttons by holding them and using the dial. This applies to changing the sounds, which isn't ideal, as I prefer a numpad for quick selection. But hey, with only 30 sounds total, using that dial isn't the worst thing in the world. Alright, let's dive into the sounds. The keyboard starts with a decent grand piano preset, and the keys are all touch sensitive for dynamic control. I'm not sure of the exact number of levels, but it feels like around 5. Ranging from pianissimo to fortissimo. There's also a reverb button for adding some ambience. It's a one press on-off situation, which is a bit limiting, but it does the job. Built-in metronome, check. Changing the tempo is super easy, just press and hold the metronome key and use the dial. Of course, I can't forget the sustain pedal for that extra piano flair. Need to change keys quickly? No problem. The transpose feature works just like the others. Press and hold the button and turn the dial. The LCD display shows the current settings. We got a selection of sounds here: grand piano, electronic piano, which is a bit more honky-tonk than I expected. Harpsichord with the surprising funk vibe. Some bells. Listen to this, a surprisingly good acoustic guitar. Next up we have an accordion. Now, some might say this is the oldest instrument in the world. Why? Because, you know, wrinkles? Okay, maybe not the oldest, but definitely one of the most unique. Here we got some synths. Nice pads. And unfortunately no drum sounds that I could find. This keyboard can also double as a MIDI controller for your computer. It has a dedicated MIDI port, but the cable isn't included. It's a standard USB printer cable. As you can see, everything works perfectly. I can use the keyboard to record tracks in GarageBand or any other digital audio workstation and then mix them all together. And thanks to the foldable design, I could easily store it away when I'm done. That's super handy. Alright, this keyboard isn't just wired, it also has Bluetooth, so you can pair it with your tablet, computer or even phone. For beginners, the manufacturer recommends an app called Pop Piano for iPads and Android tablets. It's a basic learning app for beginners. When connected via Bluetooth, the keyboard basically acts as a speaker for your device, so the sounds you hear come from the tablet, not the keyboard itself. This is okay for learning, but not ideal for serious playing. So when you connect keyboard wirelessly to GarageBand on your iPad, there's a slight delay because the signal needs to travel to the tablet, generate sound and then come back to the keyboard. Technically, you can also connect iPad directly to the keyboard's auxiliary input for zero delay, but that defeats the purpose of going wireless in the first place. Speaking of wireless, the built-in battery lasts around 6 hours, and this is perfect for street performance, picnics or jam sessions anywhere. The keyboard is loud enough to fill a room, and it's all in one portable package. So on a personal note, I really like the piano sound. Forgive the mistakes, my fingers are a bit rusty. Okay, time to wrap things up. The FingerBallet BX-15 isn't exactly top of the line, but it gets the job done. You got 30 different sounds to play with, from classics to some modern synths. All the basics are covered. It connects to other devices via Bluetooth or cable, doubles as a MIDI controller and can even be a decent starting point for beginners. When paired with an iPad and the Pop Piano app, the dynamic keys, full size and basic sounds make it a good learning tool. Plus, it's portable and has a surprisingly long battery life. So, can it actually hit the right notes? The answer is yes, definitely. It might not be a constant grind, but for practicing, learning or just having fun, it delivers. Look, it's not perfect, but for under $200 US, it's a solid option for beginners and intermediate players who need the practice on the go. It's also great for anyone who wants a basic full-size keyboard for their desk that they can easily fold away when not in use. Obviously, it won't replace a high-end piano, but for practicing, learning or just having fun, it's definitely worth considering. Keep in mind the plastic build and limited sound selection compared to more expensive options. They might not be deal breakers, but they are factors to keep in mind. Ultimately, if portability and affordability are your priorities, this keyboard might just hit the right notes. What you think? Let me know in the comments. And at the end, I'm gonna hit you with a quick disclaimer. FingerBallet provided this piano for free, but I was under no obligation to make this video or say anything positive or negative. I'm not getting paid for this, and all opinions you hear are straight from my head, so you know it's real. Thanks for watching. Catch you guys on the next one.